And meantime, in the United States, Jewish community centers have been targeted by a wave of bomb threats. All were hoax calls. But after recent attacks on Jewish cemeteries in Philadelphia and St. Louis, there are fears of a resurgence of anti-Semitism across America. Have a look.
Putting the pieces back together. These people choose to answer vandalism with unity. This Jewish cemetery in Philadelphia is one of the latest targets of the hate campaign. It follows similar scenes of vandalism in Missouri a week ago.
Why? I think that's really the only thing you could say, because there's really no reason for it to be done. I mean, I'm hoping it was maybe just, some drunk kids or doing some type of attack.
And the attacks don't stop there. Jewish community centers and schools have been targets as well. They are seeing a wave of bomb threats, all hoaxes so far. But the reports have stoked fears of resurgence of anti-Semitism. The Trump administration has condemned the rise in acts of intimidation directed at the Jewish community.
The president continues to be deeply disappointed and concerned by the reports of further vandalism at Jewish cemeteries. The cowardly destruction in Philadelphia this weekend comes on top of similar accounts from Missouri and threats made to Jewish community centers around the country. The president continues to condemn these and any other form of anti-Semitic and hateful acts in the strongest terms.
For some Jewish groups, Donald Trump is part of the problem. They say the acts of vandalism are proof Trump's divisive rhetoric has emboldened racist groups around the country.
And as those threats and vandalism at Jewish institutions in the United States have been surging in the past couple of months, there have been calls for tolerance and unity, including from other religious communities. For more on that, let's bring in now Qasim Rashid, national spokesperson for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for joining us on the program this afternoon. We have heard that members of your community rushed to help repair hundreds of those vandalized Jewish gravestones. Can you walk us through why this was so important for your community?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community are Muslims who believe in the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian. And since our community's founding well over 120 years ago, we have existed to revive that true Islam that Prophet Muhammad taught. And that true Islam teaches that it is the obligation of every Muslim to serve our fellow human beings and to protect them from being under any kind of religious attack. We have a chapter in Germany as well, and if you'll recall, after the horrible Christmas Day attack, members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community were on site, ready to serve our fellow Germans and to condemn that attack. We see this as no different. This attack on the Jewish cemetery, it's an assault on human dignity, it's an assault on our Jewish sisters and brothers. And as Muslims who believe in the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, this is not something that we will tolerate at all.
And what do you make of the U.S. government's response to that assault? We saw U.S. President Trump, through his spokesperson, saying that he was deeply disappointed and concerned. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, meanwhile, promises to strengthen prosecution efforts. What do you make of the government's response there?
Well, I think the government needs to do better. Recently, the administration has dropped white supremacy terrorism from their focused countering violent extremism program. And this sends a message that white supremacy terrorism can continue to flourish unabated. That's very problematic for a number of reasons. One, white supremacy terrorism is the leading cause of terrorism in the United States. This is attested to by the FBI, by hundreds of US organizations. So, verbal statements of condemnation are one thing, but we need more action to combat this. What the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has done in the United States is launch the True Islam Education Campaign. This is an education campaign that invites Muslims and non-Muslims to work together to combat radicalization and extremism. And we're very happy. We've had nearly 15,000 Americans sign up at trueislam.com as a Muslim ally to stand with all people of all faiths in America and to push back against the hatred and extremism that is unfortunately becoming the narrative too often right now.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for sharing with us those efforts toward religious tolerance that your Ahmadiyya Muslim community is making there in Washington, D.C. Kasim Rashad, we very much appreciate your insight.
Thank you.